Good morning, afternoon and evening my crazies, and my name's Angela. I'm the Crazy Poppy Lady and welcome back to Stitch a Week. Right, so today's stitch we will be learning is the Alpine stitch. This is really lovely. It makes a really nice sturdy fabric, as you can see. Okay, and I actually like the back of it as well. I don't know how well I can get the camera to focus in, but I'll give you, hopefully it'll work. Whoop, there we go. So that is the back of it. For some reason I've fallen in love with the back of this work as well. Now today's tutorial I'm going to be using two different colours, just so that you can actually see how the stitches are worked out. You don't have to copy along with me with this striping or anything like that. I've just done it so you've got a clearer visual. Right, so what else do you need to know? Right, you need to know how to do a front post, a double crochet and a standard double crochet, and of course a chain and a single. So with all that in mind, let's head over now and start the tutorial. So before we start the tutorial today, please double check that description box down below. In there is all the details on, if you are following along for the Stitch a Week, it tells you how many stitches you are going to need as your starting chain, and also how many rows and how many repeat sections you're going to need to do. When I recorded this I was down here and I've had to frog it back a few times, so that's why the details are there. They will also be put on screen as well. Okay, I'm sorry about that, but it's either that or I have to redo the entire tutorial. And although it's done short, sharp and quick today, I've just not got the energy and I need to get on with making another square. Right, come on, let's do this. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, we are going to chain up 24. Once you've chained up your 24, meet me back here and we'll get on to row number 1. Right, I've lost count. I'm going to redo my chain off camera and I'll meet you back here in a minute. Right, okay, so I've now done my chain. So now on to row number 2. Hook over, and in the second chain from the hook you're going to place a double crochet. And then it's a case of popping a double crochet in every chain along. Okay, I will meet you back at the other end in a moment. Okay, so here we are doing our 23rd double crochet. There we go, a lovely and simple and easy row. Now the next one, of course, is also another simple and easy row, because these 2 rows are our setup rows. Sorry, I should have said that at the beginning, but I'm in a bit of pain today, so my brain is really not in gear. So, but it's okay, my stitch work will be fine. Right, so next row, chain 1, turn your work, and then we are going to a single crochet all the way along. For a count of 23. Right, so here we are at the end of our row. For our very last stitch, and make sure you pick up both of these Okay, and do yourself a single crochet. Okay, so that is the end of row number 2. And now it's time to work on to row number 3. Now row number 3 is the first row in our actual repeat. So I'm going to be a bit cheeky here. I am going to swap my yarn out and pop in a darker colour so that you can see where I put my placement of my stitches a little bit easier. Right, there we go, there's my working end. Right, so what we're going to do is, to start off with, we are going to chain 1. We are going to turn our work. Okay, so your very first stitch is a double crochet into the same place that the chain came out of. Just like that. Okay, now our next stitch is a front post double crochet around this second double crochet along. Okay, so there we go, a front post double crochet. Then the next one is a double crochet into the next stitch along. Now if you look at the back of your work there, you will see an unworked single crochet, and then the next single crochet is the one that you're going to work into. Just like that. Now we're going to repeat this 2-stitch pattern all the way along our work. Okay, so the next one is a front post double crochet, so we're skipping this double crochet and we're going to be working around the second one there. Oh. There we go. Sorry about the mice then, I was pulling my yarn too tight. Right, and now it's a double crochet into the next single crochet. So again, turn your work, you'll see there's a skipped stitch and the stitch that we're working into. And as I said, we're going to carry that on all the way and down the row. Right, so and now for a quick brief on this row. Of course, we are working into 2 different rows. Okay, so we start off with the front post double crochet into row number 1, and then we will be doing a normal double crochet into row number 2. Remember, move your stitch work along so you're alternating between rows and you're doing a zigzag pattern as you go. And if you have to put your work down, you've got to remember how far you've got. You can of course just look at the back and you will see all of your singles that you've worked into, sorry, the top of the singles that you've worked into. Right, pain meds needed. I will meet you back here once you've finished this row. Okay, so now we are back for the very last stitch on this row, which is a double crochet. Just the standard, standalone, and double crochet into that last stitch. Now for row number 4, we are going to chain 1 and turn our work, and this one's lovely and easy. It is just a go across the row in single crochets. Okay, making sure that you catch all of the stitches as you go. Alright, once you have done that, meet me back here. I will see you shortly. Alright, so now we're back for that very last stitch, and of course that is a single crochet in that very last placement. Make sure that you count your row to double check that you have the same amount of stitches that you started row 2 with. Okay, and now we are going to go up to row 4. For this one, you are going to chain 1 and turn your work. Now this is where it gets a little bit complicated to start with until it sinks in. Right, so what we are going to now be doing is repeating row number 3, but we're swapping it round. So wherever there is a front post, you do a double crochet in the top, and wherever there is a double crochet in the top, you then do a front post. So the easiest way to look at is to look at your stitches. Okay, so on this row, of course, our very first one is a double crochet around this double crochet that is sitting at the back of your work. Okay, so it is a little bit fiddly, but you will get used to it, promise. So pop your hook in, pull up your stitch. Okay, our next one, of course, is in the top of this double crochet here. then we are working a front post, a double crochet around this one. Double crochet in the top. So I carry on with the pattern all the way along this row, and I will meet you when you get to the end. Right, so now we are up to our very last stitch. So we want to make sure that the ends match. So if you started with a front post, which you should have done for this row, you'll be finishing with a front post, a double crochet. Okay, so just pop that on and we're done. Right, now it's time for the last row of our repeats. So what you're going to do is a chain one and turn your work, and then it is a case of popping a single crochet into the top of every stitch along the row, okay, for a count of 23 if you're following along with me, or however many you started off with. Right, I will meet you back here once you get to the end of this row. Okay, so now I'm back with you at the end of the row, and now this is where I am changing my colour, because this is the start of our repeat, our second set of repeats. So what I need you to do is rewind back now. There will be a timestamp, so if you wish to work alongside the video again, you can for this set of repeats and further, or just wait a few more moments because I'm going to write it and stick it on screen for you as well. Okay, so the written pattern, of course, will be on screen. It's the count to 5 and then hit that button. Okay, and now it's time for the extra details if you are following along with a stitch a week. Okay, so to make your square a relatively square shape, you are going to need to do a total of 20 rows. Okay, so this is split down into rows 1 and 2 to start off with, then our repeat section, which is rows 3, 4, 5 and 6, okay, which I've shown you, and then we're going to do the repeat of another 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Okay, so as I said, in total that is 20 rows. Once you've done that, it's a case of just binding off and sewing in your ends. Now mine ended in a row of singles. Okay, so if you haven't quite made it to a row of singles, then you might be a little bit out, so check your rows and your counts. But otherwise, that is it for me for today. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Sorry it's been a little bit garbled. Pain meds and dodgy back are not making the brain and the hands and the gob work in unison, are they? I've done my best. The tutorial is pretty sound, I think, and if I have confused you, there of course is that little section where the repeats are already written down for you, and of course it will be in the description box down below as well. Alright, I will be signing off now. I'll see you all next week. Have a lovely week. So if you can, please stay in and definitely stay safe. Ta-ra for now, everybody.